the need for producing energy-saving and clean environment cannot be overemphasized. Now, in Africa, Morocco and Ghana is, tending towards this direction. For instance, in Morocco, there is an initiative called Marrakesh. What they do is that they fix bicycles and they employ citizens of their country to get involved with repairing bikes and, of course, learning other skills like computer programming and the likes. Then moving to Ghana. Ghana itself has a similar initiative that is allowing people of that country to use solar-powered bikes. That doesn't use, it's needless to use mechanical means that produce emissions to. Let's take a brief look at what they do and then we'll be right back.
As an environmentally friendly way to get around, bicycles are a part of the local culture in Marrakesh. This is where the idea of creating picular bikes came from. This NGO has set itself the goal of developing a range of activities around cycling. For the founder of the project, Kanta Baka, this means of transportation offers many positive solutions. I visited Marrakesh for the first time and I took a bike tour. I fell in love with the city. It was an opportunity to discover it better. I get to know the people in a different way, and you see the beauty and the dynamics of the city. It was a great discovery for me, and I saw that there is a great potential for cycling, for tourists, and especially to give access to education and employment. This workshop aims to create opportunities for education and employment. Here, the beneficiaries work as mechanics, deliverymen, or as guides for tourists on their bike rides. The initiative focuses on the sustainability of the project. Educational workshops and competitions are offered to attract more young people in dire situations.
I could not finish my studies. I came here to develop my skills and especially to work. In a short time, I learned many things. I am a manufacturer. I make the mechanical parts. This is my specialty here. When you work here, you can learn other languages, like English and Arabic. There are also theoretical courses to learn how to make bicycles.
Supposed to use electricity from the grid. In Ghana, we have one of the lowest tariffs on the continent. So I think we are getting to the place where that the price parity has been achieved.
The guy in Ghana that homeschooled himself, he read books, referred to texts, and became, an equivalent of a university graduate even without attending one.
Being born in Ghana's capital, Accra, did not mean Raya Gemega Kwewo was to do the normal. His education did not require him to go through classroom structures from kindergarten through to the university. He was homeschooled together with his 7 other siblings.
I remember when I was 17 years old, I wanted to learn German, and because of the deep learning that we'd done, it took me 4 months to learn the language. We spent the entire day studying the subjects that we were presented with. We didn't follow any curriculum of any sort. It was all in-house.
Raya has risen to become an envy of many. He's now an international consultant. His organization, Rio, presently provides unconditional basic income to over 2,300 refugees and migrants in Krisan and Ampane refugee camps in Ghana.
And the global organization is managed by myself and my co-founder, Avina Ajit. But with regards to managing each refugee community, that's done by the refugee beneficiaries themselves. We do that to prove the sustainability of the project, to prove that refugees are indeed a bankable community. They indeed had responsibilities and lives before they became displaced.
The cryptocurrency scheme gives beneficiaries $1.50 into their mobile money accounts.
I use the money to support my expenses in school, like my school fees and some of my provisions.
With that money, I think that I will increase my cassava. I'll buy more cassava and to produce more acheke.
Raya is now advocating for traditional education to be built on critical thinking that allows for flexibility and freedom to act rather than boxing people up into what he termed stereotypes.
Okay, so let's head on to Congo. There is something we're hearing from Congo now. Sometime last year, I think in 2021, there was a volcanic eruption that really, affected a lot of people. And some group of young guys got together and they produced an app, an Android app that connects missing families to their loved ones. Because in the midst of the volcanic eruption, there was there was a miscommunication or disconnection between people, and this app actually helped to reconnect disconnected families. Let's take a brief look at what this app does, and then we'll be right back.
A 24-year-old Congolese Shukuru Victoire and his small team have just set up a tool called Volcano Alert Bracelet, which is barcoded and connected to a mobile application that allows the displaced population to stay in touch and find their lost children during the volcanic eruption in Mount Nyiragongo. In that moment, when people are moving out from Goma to these different areas, many families got separated from their children, and many parents lost their kids too during the eruption. We as developers and solution thinkers from Goma thought of designing an application that will actually allow these families to find their children without going through the media, without going through a lot of information here and there, but through this application and the bracelet with a barcode. The Volcan Alert Bracelet with its interactive mobile system and a barcode bracelet have also helped in the fight against fake news during the volcano eruption and has actually allowed people to stay informed about future volcanic evolution. We formed a team to make an application in 24 hours as we were in an emergency situation just after the eruption, and we thought of setting up such an application. So far, we have only used $5,000 in developing it and even popularizing this application. Several parents in Goma are now using the application to trace their lost children. The International Committee of the Red Cross has joined this initiative to find these lost kids.
Now, still on the line of climate change, the president of Nigeria, in a recent address to the United Nations, mentioned that Nigeria would set a target of 2030, I think 2030 or 2060, to cut down on glass flaring. As you all know, Nigeria is one of the countries in the world that produces fossil fuels, and the pollution that Nigeria emits is also substantial to the global climate change that is currently creating a lot of climate disasters all over. So the president recently addressed the United Nations and also acknowledged the fact that Nigeria is setting its goal to reducing fossil generated pollutants like gas flaring and the likes.
Climate change, and assure you of our full support as you lead our deliberations. I do not think anyone in Nigeria needs persuading of the need for urgent action on the environment. Desertification in the north, floods in the center, pollution and erosion on the coast are enough evidence. For Nigeria, climate change is not about the perils of tomorrow, but what is happening today. Nigeria is committed to net zero by 2060.
This is good, but the fact is that remains is that these African countries, it's easy to make oral policies, but implementing them is another ballgame on its own. But let's hope that Nigeria also begins to wake up to its responsibilities in reducing environmental pollution and, of course, at large, climate change. heard about this story recently, and it has to do with a young man in Sahel, the Sahel part of Africa, that is producing drones. And the very interesting part of this is that this young man is using locally sourced materials.
Drones made in Niger. That's the business that Abdulaziz Kunche began 10 years ago. The entrepreneur and grandson of general and former Nigerian leader Sani Kunche is the founder of Drone Africa Service. It designs drones which are used by companies for a variety of tasks.
These are drones that are dedicated to mapping, particularly in the context of risk and flood management, but also for agriculture. And we hope soon to be able to use them to transport objects.
The company is hoping to be able to transport medicine. Although the drones are designed and created in Niger's capital, Niamey, some of the materials, such as cameras, are brought in from abroad.
Everything that makes the drone operational is really designed here in Niger.
To produce these drones. Now, as you can see, it is not sometimes, we need, in Africa, we need to start looking inwards, because Africa amounts to a whole bunch of importation from countries from Asia and the likes. It is time we begin to look at our own materials, our own locally sourced materials for infrastructural development. Safaricom is beginning to key into this aspect, this new technology, for the fact that the COVID-19 pandemic had introduced a lot of new approaches to working, like working at home, and the need for people to connect to the internet while implementing social distancing as against the backdrop of the pandemic.
One year after its first 5G trial, Safaricom, the leading Kenyan telecom operator, is introducing the ultra-high-speed broadband to the market. This new service, they say, would target the country's major cities and later expand to other parts of the country over the next 12 months.
So during COVID, we have seen a lot of our customers wanting to work from home, whether those are individual customers, kids are at home, so they are learning from home, and also businesses, especially small businesses, are also start to establish their home as their offices. So the work stops becoming a place, but a space. So going forward, we have to enable working from home or working from anywhere in any space.
Thanks to the launch of 4G in 2015, Safaricom had tripled its revenue in 2020. The company is now looking to expand to other countries.
We are looking at expanding M-Pesa beyond Kenya. We've already expressed interest to enter Ethiopia, and we are going through that process. Hopefully, if we get in there, we will continue to accelerate growth.
Okay, now in Egypt, there is someone, a young man that used his skill to build a robot that can, test COVID in patients, thereby reducing the workload on the hospital staff. And how this robot works seamlessly is that it has an embedded camera and some circuits, and sensors for moving. And the camera uses computer vision to analyze, to see if someone actually is wearing a mask, protective mask against COVID-19 or not. And it also has features of, actually testing, removing a sample test from the nostrils to have a very quick, test of COVID. And this initiative is very good because it reduces the workload, like I said previously, from the hospital staff, and it also efficiently and precisely does tasks that will have erstwhile been on human.
With Egypt facing a second coronavirus wave, mechatronics engineer Mahmoud El-Koumi trials a self-funded prototype for a remote-controlled robot to assist physicians in running tests on suspected COVID-19 patients in a bid to limit human exposure to disease carriers at a private hospital in Tanta. Before starting its mission, the robot receives training to improve its artificial intelligence. The training is done by a specialist doctor. The AI in this training acts like a human doctor. The robot, called Sira-03, sports a human-like face and head to put patients at ease and can carry out an array of medical procedures and display the results to patients on a screen attached to its chest. The AI has also been developed to perform pain-free PCR swab tests. This robot is specially designed to help the medical staff during COVID-19 times. It is a medical robot capable of multitasks. It can deal with patients in their beds, chest scans, fever screening, and face mask detection. Mahmoud El-Koumi reports positive feedback from patients. The North African nation reports just under 200,000 confirmed coronavirus cases, with over 150,000 recoveries, according to the WHO.
This is another very good area where programming, software programming, your skill in software programming comes in handy. And that is why this year, 2022, you should ensure that you learn a skill, learn how to program, because you never know where this will come in. Now, still on the vein of climate change and endangered species, the rhino in the southern part of Africa is currently one of the red list species that is, at the verge of total extinction. And some group of zoologists from Japan came recently to carry one of these rhinos for safekeeping.
They are the second largest land mammal and are endangered species with a near threatened status. To save white rhinos from extinction, a Taiwanese zoo is prepping to send a young female southern white rhinoceros called Emma to Japan, where they hope she will breed.
We currently count only around 18,000 of the white rhinoceros species in the world right now. They are on the edge of being extinct. If we do not exercise our obligations of being a citizen of planet Earth, this species will only be seen in films as specimens. For a zoo operator, this will be really sad. We are very concerned.
Emma is expected to fly mid-April. Her keepers are teaching her some Japanese words and phrases so the language sounds more familiar to her. She currently weighs 682 kilograms and was born in December 2015. Her future mate, Moran, a male rhinoceros of the same species, was born in December 2010.
Try as much as possible to protect our environment and eliminate activities that endanger our immediate species that could be useful to humankind in the future. I hope you enjoyed today's brief presentation. Until next time, this is signing out. Cheers and all the best.